Everyone. Do you ever feel a sense of danger in your daily life? As long as we live on Earth, we never know when or what kind of disaster might strike. Among all such events, the ancient city of Pompeii, which was destroyed by a volcanic eruption, stands out in human history. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, unleashing massive amounts of lava and ash upon Pompeii, a city nestled at the mountain's base, erasing it overnight. Today, though, we're not focusing on the eruption itself, but rather on how people lived in Pompeii before the catastrophe. What kind of place was Pompeii as a city? And what was life like there before disaster struck? Welcome. This is the story of Pompeii, a coastal city in Italy, just before the eruption of 79 AD. A few miles south of Rome. One of the great cities of the era was the Roman city of Pompeii. The population of Pompeii is estimated to have been around 10,000 to 12,000 people. Originally, it is believed to have been built by Greek settlers on a raised area formed by solidified lava, which, of course, came from Mount Vesuvius. At that time, this lava plateau helped prevent invasions from neighboring tribes. Additionally, volcanic regions tend to have fertile soil, making it easier for agriculture to flourish. In fact, Pompeii was known for its vineyards, and was a center for wine production. Pompeii was also a prosperous commercial city. The city was carefully planned, with cobblestone streets radiating from a large central square. Pompeii also had a large port, which played an essential role in transporting various goods that arrived at the harbor to Rome. Thanks to this, the people of Pompeii could enjoy a variety of ingredients from different regions. In addition to staples like pork and poultry, rare delicacies such as snails and spices were readily available. It has even been discovered that some Pompeians ate exotic meats, like giraffe and flamingo. This gives us a glimpse of the rich diet enjoyed by Pompeii's residents. Besides being a commercial hub, Pompeii also served another purpose. It was a popular retreat for the Roman elite. The city was equipped with shopping districts, hot springs, and eateries, where visitors could shop in the morning, relax in the baths in the afternoon, and enjoy gourmet meals at taverns and restaurants in the evening. It was a luxurious holiday destination for many. Moreover, Pompeii had amphitheaters and theaters, offering an abundance of entertainment. In fact, historical records indicate that during a gladiator match in Pompeii's amphitheater, the crowd got so rowdy that it led to a riot. Just as some sports fans today might get out of hand after a game, something similar happened in Pompeii. However, this wasn't all Pompeii had to offer. In fact, Pompeii had numerous brothels, the largest of which was located in the city center and called the Lupanar. Lupanar is the name given to the ruins of a brothel that still stands in Pompeii today. The building features many small rooms with stone beds, reflecting the typical architectural style of brothels from that era. On the walls of this establishment, There remains something distinctive to brothels: a menu. The wall menu lists various sexual acts and their prices, creating a straightforward and transparent system for patrons. Pompeii was home to many such brothels, which attracted and entertained a large number of visitors. Pompeii was indeed a city of pleasure and desire, catering to all manner of needs. No doubt many wealthy visitors indulged in these pursuits during their travels. And, as it happens, we can still get a glimpse of Pompeii's lively atmosphere from back then, through something else preserved over time: graffiti left on the walls of these brothels. Just what kinds of messages were left behind, we wonder. Here's an example of graffiti found in Pompeii. Martis, you're skilled. Martis was the name of a woman working in the brothel. And as for skilled, well, that's open to interpretation. This graffiti is thousands of years old, yet it has a humorous resemblance to modern restroom graffiti. There's also another message that reads, "Let anyone who is in love die." This one is believed to have been written by a man who wasn't successful in love, essentially the ancient equivalent of "Down with the happy couples." I feel like I could get along with this person from Pompeii. In addition to graffiti, Pompeii has many frescoes that reveal aspects of life in the city to us today. For instance, on a city wall, there is a fresco depicting a man and a woman. The man's skin is painted in a bronze tone, while the woman's skin is a radiant, light golden color. According to scholars, this difference suggests that women led more indoor lives, while men spent more time outdoors in the sun, which could indicate that women held a higher status. Furthermore, many frescoes show women adorned with jewelry and luxurious furnishings, leading researchers to believe that women may have held a high social position in Pompeii. However, very few historical records remain from Pompeii, so whether this was actually the case is something we may never know for certain. The reason there are so few records about life in ancient Pompeii is because of the volcanic eruption. This raises the question, why did people choose to live so close to a dangerous volcano in the first place? The answer is that they never considered that the volcano might erupt. To be more precise, they didn't even have a concept of what a volcano was. The word volcano comes from Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. However, this term only came into use after Mount Etna erupted in Sicily around the 160s AD. In other words, when ancient Pompeii was thriving, there was no concept of a volcano. As a result, the people of Pompeii lived unaware of the dangers of the mountain beside them, and naturally, they had no way of recognizing the signs of an impending eruption. For instance, there was a mass die-off of fish in a nearby river, due to rising acidity levels from volcanic activity. Other indicators included dried-up springs and a large earthquake that struck about 10 years before the eruption, all signs of volcanic activity. However, the citizens of Pompeii, unfamiliar with the concept of a volcano, couldn't recognize these warning signs for what they were. To them, the eruption must have seemed like a bolt from the blue. One day, the end of their world arrived without warning. because they lacked the concept of a volcano. Many Pompeians lost their lives in the disaster. Afterward, Pompeii was left uninhabitable, and people abandoned the area, never to rebuild settlements there again. It wasn't until nearly 1,500 years later that Pompeii would once again attract attention. The year was 1559. While Pompeii had not been entirely forgotten, it was remembered only as the site of an ancient buried city. In 1559, a few frescoes and other artworks were accidentally discovered at the site. However, this discovery didn't immediately lead to a full-scale excavation of Pompeii. The first person to investigate the site was Domenico Fontana, who received the initial report about Pompeii and went to the site to begin an investigation. Although the remains of Pompeii lay buried right beneath his feet, he found nothing. This was because Fontana wasn't an archaeologist or expert in excavation. He was simply an architect. Lacking the necessary expertise, his investigation was insufficient, and Pompeii was once again left buried and forgotten. It would take another 150 years before interest in Pompeii was reignited. In the late 1740s, King Charles III of Naples ordered an excavation, and only then did the second wave of excavation and research on Pompeii begin. Since then, efforts to uncover and study Pompeii have continued, with new discoveries being made each day. However, we may still be far from fully understanding it, as two new discoveries were made only recently. The first discovery concerns the date of Pompeii's destruction. Until now, it was believed that Pompeii was destroyed on August 24, 79 AD. However, in October 2018, a critical piece of evidence that had previously been overlooked was discovered. On the wall of a house in Pompeii, a charcoal inscription dated October 17 was found. This suggests that Pompeii existed at least 2 months after the previously assumed date of August 24, and this discovery has strengthened the theory that the eruption occurred on October 24. It's surprising to think that such an important clue was missed. From the start of excavations in 1740 until 2018. The second discovery concerns the cause of death of the Pompeii residents. Previously, it was believed that most of them suffocated under the falling volcanic ash. However, recent research has revealed that this was incorrect. So what was the actual cause of death? It was the superheated gas released during the eruption. Scorching gas, exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius, struck them, taking their lives instantly. These discoveries continue to emerge as scientific advancements allow for new insights into the Pompeii ruins, largely due to the excellent state of preservation. Pompeii was buried entirely in volcanic ash, preserving it almost exactly as it was at the time of the eruption. But with that said, how are we able to determine the cause of death of people from that time? It's natural to wonder how much information we could really gain. If the remains had been buried for nearly 2,000 years, surely only the bones would remain. Indeed, what's left are only the bones, not the actual bodies. However, we're still able to learn what their bodies looked like, as the volcanic ash that fell on them Gradually hardened, the bodies eventually decayed and left only bones behind. But the hardened ash preserved the shape of the bodies, leaving behind hollow spaces in the exact form of those bodies. By pouring plaster into these cavities, we can create plaster casts, revealing the posture in which they perished. The well-known casts of Pompeii's victims were made in this way. Through this method, we can understand the final moments of Pompeii's citizens on the day of the eruption. And these plaster casts tell us more than just their last moments. They reveal fascinating details about their lives. For instance, CT scans of victims whose skulls were intact showed that many had nearly perfect teeth. The reason for this is thought to be their diet, which consisted mainly of fruits and vegetables with minimal sugar, as well as the fluoride-rich groundwater common in volcanic regions. Thus, the exceptionally well-preserved ruins of Pompeii continue to reveal a wealth of information about the lives of its inhabitants. However, with countless detailed casts of the victims scattered throughout the site, the images of their despair and fear, faced with an inescapable and absolute threat, remain hauntingly vivid. There is also a written account of the eruption of Pompeii from someone who witnessed it firsthand. The person who recorded this was Pliny the Younger. A politician and writer, Pliny wrote many letters, which were later compiled into a collection called Epistulae, letters. Among these letters are detailed descriptions of the eruption, which hold great historical value due to their vivid detail. Let me share part of one of his letters. The aftermath spread across the land like a flood, as thick black clouds rolled in, accompanied by the screams of women, the cries of infants, and the shouts of men. This describes the city as the volcano erupted. He goes on to depict the state of the citizens. Some prayed for death in their terror, while others begged the gods for help. But the majority imagined that the gods had abandoned the world and that eternal darkness had fallen upon it. For the citizens of Pompeii, that day was undoubtedly the end of the world. The ruins convey the tragedy of nearly 2,000 years ago, yet so vividly that they reach across time to affect us now. But some wonder if this tragedy is truly a thing of the past, expressing unease at what it reminds us about nature's power. Mount Vesuvius, the volcano that destroyed Pompeii, is the only active volcano on mainland Europe. As far as we know, it has erupted more than 50 times in recorded history. Today, more than 3 million people live at the base of Vesuvius, and as an active volcano, it could erupt at any time. In fact, due to its potential threat, Vesuvius is considered one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world. This means it's entirely possible that we could one day see a second or third Pompeii. If that moment ever comes, what could we do in the face of such immense natural power? The history of our world remains full of mysteries. Let's continue this journey together, uncovering the secrets of our world. Until next time on our next adventure, and thank you for watching.